The Dallas Cowboys refuse to tell you this, so we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Cowboys make surprising decision on potential trade at deadline. Don't expect the Dallas Cowboys to be overly aggressive at the trade deadline. As the Cowboys enter the NFL trade deadline, pundits expect Dallas to be buyers. The Cowboys have a number of key areas they can improve, including at running back and cornerback. However, don't expect Dallas to be the one making the calls. According to team owner Jerry Jones, other teams are going to have to be the aggressors in order for a trade to be completed involving the Cowboys. It'd have to come my way, Jones told 105.3 FM The Fan on Tuesday. I don't want to preclude anything in any way, but it always does. You have a lot of machinations that you're working through there. The initiation of an opportunity to make a trade at this time that would help us, principally, would have to start on the other end. While Jonas brings up how the initiation would have to start the other way, he stresses that the team's game plan entering the deadline is not from a lack of aggressiveness. That's not showing a lack of aggressiveness. It's just that's where it starts. I like where we are with our personnel today. I'm not thinking in any way that we need to upgrade our roster. The Cowboys have been no stranger to big trades over the past year. Prior to the start of the 2023 season, Dallas completed 3 major trades that saw them acquire former 1,000-yard receiver Brandon Cooks, former Defensive Player of the Year Stephon Gilmore, and former number 3 overall pick Trey Lance. Those 3 trades saw Dallas flip late-round draft capital, including a 4th-round draft pick, 2 5th-round draft picks, and a 6th-round draft pick. Dallas is currently 4-2. They'll host the Los Angeles Rams right before the trade deadline on October 31 and are just a couple weeks removed from a 42-10 beatdown at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. Points of weakness for the Cowboys are the lack of viable options at running back behind Tony Pollard, the team's inefficiency in the red zone, they rank 26th in red zone percentage, and a lack of depth at cornerback following the season-ending injury to number 1 corner Trevon Diggs. Despite those clear deficiencies, Jones explains why his wait-and-see approach is a lot better than being overly aggressive in initiating a trade. It's your leg and wait. I have areas of the team that I could, if certain circumstances happen, improve, he said. So you don't know that your best chance to get it done is when it comes by you and you grab it. That's just generally speaking. To go out and push it, the odds of getting it done at the price or trade conditions that you would expect is draining. Due to their prior trades, Dallas is lacking in draft capital, especially in the later rounds, in 2024. In fact, they don't have a 4th, 5th, or 6th round draft pick in 2024. We'll see if the Cowboys' strategy pays off with any moves at the deadline. But considering Jones's approach and the lack of draft capital in the immediate draft, it may be more likely that Dallas goes without pulling off a big move. The second story is Brandon Cooks is becoming an absolute star for the Dallas Cowboys. In the final game before the bye week, veteran wide receiver Brandon Cooks saw his official coming-out party come to fruition after a slow start to his first season with the Dallas Cowboys. In the 2017 win over the Los Angeles Chargers, Cooks hauled in 4 receptions for a season-high 36 yards and a fourth-quarter touchdown that helped push Dallas to a bounce-back victory. Since his arrival, Cooks has always preached a personal philosophy of trusting the process, and that continues to ring true as he finds his footing in the Cowboys' offense. I think it was just one of those things that the opportunity showed its hand, Cooks said. Like I've always said, I'm just going to trust the process, and when the opportunity comes, I'm going to try to take advantage of it. It just happened to be on Monday night. The offense found a bit of a stride against the Chargers, despite the point total not completely reflecting that, as Cooks hopes to find more consistency with the entire group. I just hope we can continue to build on that for many reasons, Cooks said. To help guys around me, to help Ceedee Lamb stay open, or Michael Gallup, whatever the case may be. I look at it as continuing to trust the process, and when your number is called, be there to make the play. Cooks will look to continue to make plays, starting with this week's matchup against a former team of his in the Los Angeles Rams. While that would be a significant game for some, Cooks' entire career has consisted of sporadic matchups against former teams. I've been able to play former teams, pretty much all of my former teams, in years past, he said. I think now, I'm so far removed. Like this week, I look at it as another opportunity to go out and do what I can to help my team win and to keep the momentum going from the week before the bye. The game against the Rams will start a stretch of 5 of the next 7 games at AT&T Stadium, as Cooks will look to keep the positive momentum going while finding the full potential of the offense. It's about protecting your home turf, he said. If you want to be successful in this league, you got to be able to protect your home field, so we talked about that. But we're taking it 1 week at a time. The third story is the Cowboys have things they need to improve after the bye week. They had 3 road games against 2022 playoff teams, a Week 2 matchup against one of the NFL's best defenses, and you can never assume a victory against Bill Belichick. But with the team's 2 losses coming against a bad Arizona Cardinals team and a 32-point blowout at the hands of their arch-rival, there is little enthusiasm among Cowboys fans about the team's second-place standing in the NFC East. I look at where we are 4-2, I will take it for sure, Cowboys owner and GM Jerry Jones told 105.3 The Fan on Tuesday. We have better football ahead of us, I don't doubt that at all. No one should doubt that. And we're getting better. Jones is an eternal optimist, so his comments are unsurprising, but there are areas of the team where it's reasonable to expect the Cowboys to perform better than they did through the first 6 weeks of the season. Firstly is red zone efficiency. The Cowboys are not as bad in the red zone as the numbers might lead you to believe. Dallas was number 1 in red zone efficiency in 2022, but they've plummeted to 26th with just 39.1% of their red zone trips ending in a touchdown. The Cowboys have been the victim of some bad luck at times in the red zone. Drops, penalties, and missed assignments have plagued the Cowboys at times inside the 20. Those sort of things will naturally regress to the mean and should equal better efficiency for Dallas in the second half. The Cowboys also have a very young group of tight ends who are still learning the nuances of the position, especially when the field gets tighter. Dalton Schultz left via free agency this offseason, and he had been one of the best red zone threats in the NFL over the past few seasons. More experience will bring more efficiency from the position group. Secondly is big plays on offense. The Cowboys have struggled to get much in the way of big plays on offense, particularly with the passing game in this new Texas Coast offense. There were signs of life in Dallas's most recent game against the Chargers. Dak Prescott appears to be getting more comfortable in the scheme, and the route concepts were more aggressive than they had been through the first 5 games of the season. With 2 weeks off to self-scout and make tweaks to the passing concepts, the Cowboys should see an increase in big play percentage over the final 11 games. Thirdly is offensive line. Dallas's dream lineup of Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele hasn't quite been what they had hoped for in its first 2 games together as a complete unit. But this is an example of the importance of continuity and cohesion along the offensive line. Even though these 5 have been thought of as the starters at their respective positions over the last 2 seasons, they've only played a little over 100 snaps together. Now that everyone is healthy, the unit should only improve each week. That goes for their ability not only in pass protection, but in the run game as well. The Dallas Cowboys have had uncertainty at the kicker position seemingly ever since Dan Bailey lost his mojo in 2017 after suffering an injury in Week 7. The Cowboys cut Bailey in September of the following season, a surprising move at the time, and he ultimately moved on to Minnesota. A revolving door of kickers came through the star until Brett Maher's 3rd stint with the team ended after accuracy concerns, and he was cut again last offseason. Again, in a somewhat surprising move to many at the time. The Cowboys instead decided to find their next kicker in the preseason with Tristan Vizcaino and former USFL and soccer standout Brandon Aubrey. Maher has been bouncing around and was released by the Rams on Tuesday, indicating the Cowboys made the right decision. And after deciding on Aubrey for the 2023 season, Dallas has no regrets. As team owner Jerry Jones said recently, "I think we got us a kicker." Through the first 7 weeks of the season, the McKinney native Aubrey has been spectacular. He's made every single one of his field goal attempts a perfect 16 for 16, one of only 5 kickers in the league to be at 100%. He's been reliable from distance too, where he's 2 for 2 with a long of 55 yards. He's new to the game of football. Again, he was a soccer player for most of his life, but now He's just the sixth kicker in NFL history to begin his career 16 for 16 or better. One of the better aspects of Maher's game was his high rate of touchbacks on kickoffs. Aubrey has been equally effective there with a 97.2% touchback rate, good enough for fifth in the league. While the Cowboys have been criticized for being stubborn at times with certain position groups, at least for 2023, they've nailed the kicker position. Each week on his podcast, Dallas Cowboys star Micah Parsons weighs in on various NFL topics. Last night, Parsons touched on Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce's relationship with Taylor Swift and the effect it might be having on his personal stats. As CBS showed during Sunday's Chiefs-Chargers game, Kelce has much better numbers with Swift in attendance than he does in games she misses. Parsons dismissed a direct correlation between the two,